What's up, icons? It's the iconic fashion figure back with another video. So a couple weeks ago I did an open discussion video where I just mentioned the topic and opened up the comments for you guys to join in on the discussion to let me know what it was you guys needed help with as far as getting registered, and I tried to stay as active in the comments as much as possible to help you guys out. One of the comments that was on that video requested that I discuss the whole taxes portion when it comes to getting your resale certificate, because that's the part that people don't talk about when they tell you to register your business and get your resale certificate so you can buy wholesale. So I'm going to quickly touch base on the taxes part of it to hopefully help you guys out to understand that it's not much to it other than the government is looking for their money. So before I get started with the video, I do have to say I am not a financial advisor. I am not a tax expert. I am simply just sharing my knowledge based off of my experience. When you register your business and you get your resale certificate, basically what your resale certificate, or also known as your seller's permit, your certificate of authority, certificate of registration, every state calls it something different, but it's all the same thing. It's basically saying that you are able to collect taxes on all the sales that you make. Now, of course, when you're collecting those taxes, you have to report it, because the government wants their money. The taxes you are collecting is not for you to keep. Don't look at that as profit or money to go in your pocket. The taxes you collect on every sale that you make has to be paid to the government, or Department of Revenue is what it would be considered. Every state has a different payout schedule that they go by. So some states may require you to do it quarterly, some may require it weekly, or not weekly, I haven't seen weekly. So it'll be quarterly, monthly, or annually. Now you may choose to go in, let's say your state requires you to do it once a year. You can decide to go every quarter and pay part of that money, so that way come the end of the year you don't have to pay a full lump sum of money. And then that way, when you do file your annual taxes with your state, you won't owe anything, or maybe you'll owe a little, or maybe you pay too much, so they'll pay it back to you. But there are deadlines you have to follow, so when you register for your certificate or your permit, you have to be sure to read in depth and understand when your taxes are due, because if you miss that deadline, they charge you a penalty. A lot of states, the penalty is like $50. Some states it will increase if you take even longer to file. Some states it may be a higher fee right off the bat, but they will charge you a late fee, so you have to know your deadline. Now, when I registered here in Florida, I had someone from Department of Revenue actually call me to allow me the opportunity to ask any questions that I may have as far as taxes, and to understand everything, to make sure I have it right before I actually started off with my business. They also mailed me a packet that had a little booklet in it that had the schedule in there to let me know when it was paid, and to keep track of like all my sales, and to understand how much I would have to pay, so that way it wasn't a surprise come the time I have to file the taxes. You may get something like that. Not every state does that, because I never got that with like California or New York, but I did here in Florida. You may get that, you may not. I would recommend creating a schedule for yourself, or a little booklet. Just go to like a Michael's or Dollar Tree and get one of those financial planners, and you can keep track of it yourself. If I were you, if you open up your business bank account, any money that you make as far as taxes, move it into a savings account, so that way you know that money is not yours. Don't touch it. You have to pay that out to the Department of Revenue for taxes. The other thing you'll want to keep in mind is the money and the taxes you're paying to Department of Revenue is for your state. That's not federal. So come tax time, like this time of year right now when everyone's filing your taxes, you have to file what's called a Schedule C, and it's basically self-employment money, and you have to file the money that you make and the money you spend on your business. So that way that's getting filed with the IRS, not with the Department of Revenue with your state. So those are two completely separate things. You will have to file both because you have both federal and state. Of course, if you don't make any sales, let's say you get your resale certificate, but you don't start buying wholesale right away, you may have waited a few months, but your state requires you to file monthly or quarterly. So now you have taxes that are due in a couple weeks, and you're confused on what to do because you haven't sold anything, so there's no sales to report. Still file the taxes because you have to. You're now responsible for that resale certificate that you signed up for. So you're responsible for filing those taxes. They will come after you if you don't. Trust me. I made that mistake when I first registered in New York, completely forgot about the taxes stuff, and I got a notification saying that I missed my deadline for filing the taxes and there was a $50 late fee. So I lost $50. So make sure you still follow that schedule because I had registered but hadn't started the business yet, so I completely forgot about it. So you'll still want to file your taxes. When you file it, you'll just put everything at zero. You haven't done anything. You haven't spent money. You haven't made any money. So everything is just zero. And you'll submit it. Long as they receive that, you're good. And you'll get a confirmation number so you can write that down. If you don't send that in, you're going to get a late fee the next time you go to file. It'll say that you never filed for that period. Now, when you do start making sales and you go to file your taxes, you'll basically just put in for that time frame. Let's say like Florida, we're quarterly, so from January through March. Let's say in April, I'm now filing for those 3 months. I have to go in and put in all the sales made for that month, and it'll tell me how much I've owed in sales. Now for me, since I sell wholesale, mine are tax exempt, which is why I collect your resale certificates, because I don't charge you guys taxes on the sales that I make, because you are going to resell it to your customer and collect tax from them. You can't tax the same product twice, which is why wholesalers don't collect tax. Resellers are the one that collects the tax from the consumer, which is something I quickly want to touch on for you guys too, since we're on the topic of taxes. There's a lot of confusion on that when it comes to registering for vendors wholesale, but you haven't registered for your business yet, or like your resale certificate you haven't gotten. And I get a lot of people that don't understand why they need that if they're not selling yet. Like I said, you can get your resale certificate, and when you file your taxes, just put everything at zero. But when it comes to buying wholesale, because we are selling to you to resell, you are the one collecting taxes, not us. So we don't charge you taxes. But you have to be registered to collect tax in order to sell with taxes, which is why we require a resale certificate. Now, I've gotten the question too that, well, the state that you live in, they don't require you to report your taxes because you're selling under a certain amount each month. So let's say that amount is $500. You're only selling $500 worth of sales every month, so you don't need to report. If you're not reporting your sales to Department of Revenue, that is fine for you. Just don't collect tax from your customers because that money is not for you to pocket. You will get fined for that. It's not legal for you to do that. You can't collect tax and then keep it and say, well, I only made $500, so I'm not reporting it. That money you still do have to report. If you just sell under the table and not collecting taxes, that's fine for you to do, but to be able to buy wholesale, you still have to have a resale certificate because they're expecting you to collect the tax, because otherwise we get dinged for it and we have to pay taxes if we get audited and we didn't even collect tax from you. So that's money out of our pocket that we have to pay to the government for something we didn't collect tax on. So it's crucial to have your resale certificate, and that'll also answer the question for you guys that are looking for vendors without a resale certificate. Some states is a little easier to get away with when it comes to selling wholesale and not collecting a resale certificate. They only expect you to collect taxes for the sales you made within your state. But that part gets a little tricky, so the best thing is to just have a resale certificate and not have to worry about that in the end. So get your resale certificate, file 0 sales until you actually start making sales, and make sure you do it on time so you don't get hit with any penalties. Thank you guys for watching.